Hey there, welcome to today's webinar on mastering ad hoc reporting. We're so excited you're here. My name's Kat, my co-host is Luis, and we'll be guiding you through today's session. We're covering this because ad hoc reporting is one of the most powerful tools in Bravo. It gives you quick access to the data you need so you can make decisions faster, more efficiently, and stay in control of your business. So here's what we'll cover today. First, we're going to walk through customized report layouts. Next, we'll dive into creating and saving reports. Then we'll go over managing and updating reports. And finally, we'll walk through the void view ad hoc reporting. So what exactly is ad hoc reporting? Ad hoc reporting simply means creating a custom report exactly when and how you need it. No more waiting or sorting through piles of data that don't matter. With Bravo's ad hoc reporting, you can easily pick up and choose criteria, filter for exactly what you're looking for, and instantly see what's important to your business. Need a quick example? Let's say you want to know which items you sold last month priced over $500. Group neatly by category. Ad hoc reporting lets you do that in a few clicks. It's quick, flexible, and fully customizable to your everyday needs. Simply put, ad hoc reporting saves you time, gives you control over your data, and helps you make smarter, faster decisions for your business. It's like having the exact report you need whenever you need it. So before you start building a report, it really helps to begin with the end in mind. So ask yourself, what am I trying to learn, solve, or track? Ad hoc reporting is super powerful, but it's most effective when you're clear on the objective. So let's talk through a few ways you can use it to support your store's goals. First, marketing. You can pull a list of customers who haven't been in a while, find customers who buy specific categories like gold or electronics, or even target high spenders for future promotions. Second, compliance and controls. If you need to track voids, tender changes, or MLA results, ad hoc reporting helps you fold that activity by employee or transaction type. Great for audits and accountability. And finally, we have performance. You can review loans by employees and see what categories are driving revenue, or even monitor loan amounts over time to spot trends. So let's dive in. So the goal for this section is going to show you how to customize your report layout using column chooser and saved layouts so that you can streamline your workflow and focus on the data that matters most to you. So let's pop right into Bravo. I'm going to tell you a quick little story. So my buddy didn't pull a forfeit list, right? He just pretty much went to the priced items queue, found the location, pulled it from the back, priced it, merchandised it, and he did this because he liked getting his steps in and staying active. Now, he did run a medium volume store, which means he did get busy, but he also had the luxury of having a handful of employees, so he could essentially pull his merchandise like this. Not all stores have that option. Some need a little bit more efficiency, like pulling items in one swoop, then pricing in between helping customers. So since my store is short-staffed, I'm going to customize the priced items queue to fit my needs so I can use this as my forfeit list. Now, the reason why I chose the priced items queue is because Bravo auto defaults buys. So this list has both my forfeited loans and my forfeited buys in the same area. To basically customize this layout, we are going to head to this column up top. Any of them will work. And I'm just going to right click. That's going to bring up a pop-up box where we can select the option Show Column Chooser. This is going to give you a bunch of criteria that you can add to your layout so you can see exactly what you want. So for me, I'm going to remove a few things and I'm going to add a few things to have it laid out exactly how I like it. So as I go through, you'll see that there's a little checkbox here. There is a search bar, so if you know the exact thing you want to add or remove, you can simply just type it in and it will bring you right to that criteria. But I'm going to just scroll through and kind of take in and out what I don't want. So I don't need the category because I already have the description. I do personally like seeing the cost on there because I like seeing how much I paid for stuff while I'm pulling it. I like having the customer on there because even though we locate everything in Bravo, every once in a while someone will misplace a loan and just put it with other loans that that customer has brought in. Let's take a look here. I am going to go remove the date because I already know where, the date that it came into this priced items queue. I'm keeping the description. I am going to add, or should I say remove the status because we are in the priced items queue. So I already know it's unpriced. The last thing I'm going to do is remove the type. And now this is starting to look a little bit more of how I want to see it. So now if you are using converted data and you don't have those Bravo created numbers, it's probably best to leave that type in because it does show if it's a pawn or a buy. But since everything in here has a Bravo number, I can easily determine between my buys and my loans from the Bravo numbers that's created for that item. All right, so now that I have the information I want, the other thing I'm going to do is just move things around so that it's in a view I want. So for me, I'm going to move location at the front. Then I'm going to have the number. I like my customer right after that. I'm keeping the description there and the cost. If I right click on this column, I could use the best fit for all columns and it will kind of go through and adjust the size of each column to kind of best fit it. Now, the last thing I'm going to do is just click on location so that it sorts by location so that it's easier for me to find where these things are in my backroom to pull them and bring them up. So now that I have a layout the way I want it and the way that makes sense to me, we're going to go ahead and save this layout so that I can come back to this anytime I use my price items queue. So at the very top in that main grid area, I'm going to pop open our layout. And the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on the show summary panel. And what this does is anytime there is a column that can either be added up, it will give us a sum of the entire column, the average of the information, the number of items in this particular queue. So at this point, it kind of gives me an idea of how much I have to pull or what's sitting on my price items queue that could essentially be sales for me for that day. The other thing that we're going to do here is right up top, we're going to head to the name portion of this saved layout. So this is where I would go through and I would just name the layout with something that resonates with me, that I will understand that this report shows this particular view. So since I'm using this to pull inventory from my backroom up front, I'm going to call this my pull list layout because that's what makes sense to me. Now, right next to the name, we have share options. If something is listed as not shared, that means that only I have access to this layout. If I have it as a store-wide share, that means that everybody who logs into my store will have access to view this layout. For those of you in companies with multiple locations, the company-wide view just gives this layout view to all of the people in your company, regardless of what store they're in. Now, the share globally one is for Bravo. That's just for us to push out layouts or reports to everyone in the Bravo community. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to keep this as my own personal layout. And then I'm going to go ahead and right below where we drop down that box to select our share, I'm just going to go ahead and save it. And this is now saved right here in my saved layout. So if I pop open this queue, it's going to give us a handful of different layout views that we have saved or someone in our company has saved. Okay, now the great thing about having these different layouts is that you're not stuck with just one view. So even though Bravo had a particular view for that price items queue, it doesn't mean you have to stick to that. You just pop open that layout, you change the view, and all of a sudden, it now has exactly what you want. All right, let's head back to our presentation, because the next section we're going to get into, since we've just adjusted our layouts, is going to be how to create custom reports. So the goal for this section is to show you how to create your own custom reports in Bravo by choosing criteria, adjusting filters, and saving reports that you'll actually use on a regular basis, which is super helpful to get you the right information at the right time without digging around. So let's hop into Bravo. And we're going to start off with where can you actually find ad hoc reporting? So with ad hoc reporting, you can pretty much find it in any place of our managing menus. So pop open, we have ad hoc reporting in inventory, ad hoc reporting in layaways, ad hoc reporting in loans buys, third-party transfers, e-commerce. Pretty much all of our side menu options have ad hoc reporting. So you can create custom reports from anywhere. We are going to go ahead and pop into an ad hoc reporting section just to kind of navigate our ad hoc screen. So in our generator, we have a place where you can name your custom report. Again, name it with something that makes sense for you. So if you are creating your own customer contact list, name it customer contact list or customer contact list for pawns. The next thing we have here is choose columns. So this is going to be directly attached to those custom layouts that you're creating. So for instance, if we are doing a pull list report, we can easily attach that pull print list that we created. So now we have a custom report with a custom layout. The next thing we have here is our saved layout option. So our shared layout options. So we have that not shared, which means that this would be a report that only you can see since you've created it. You can share it with everyone in your store, everyone in your company, and those are the different kind of share that you can do for custom report. Now, the very last box that we see here is going to be this new criteria. And this is how you can start building out your report. So for instance, let's add in a few criteria. The cool thing with this is that you can add as many criteria as you like. It's not limited to just one or two. So I'm going to pop in due date. I'm going to go ahead and add in the location. I'm going to go ahead and pop in MLA relevant. And the other great thing about this is it is in alphabetical order. So if you're looking for something like the status, you know it's going to be closer to the bottom with all of the other S's. Another thing is like if you're looking for something like description, just think about how else it could be described. So for instance, it's not under D, but I do know that we do have different tag descriptions. So I'm going to go ahead and add that in here. Now, with these, you can see that there's a variety of different ways that you can add in data, right? So with due dates, it could be a specific date. With location, we have those drop-down boxes that attach to, different areas within our store. The MLA relevant could be a checkbox, and there are different criteria that have like a checkbox. So if it's selected, we would be looking at only MLA relevant loans. If it's not selected, then it would say everything but MLA. Status also has that drop-down box where you can select from different statuses in Bravo. The last thing we do have is the ability to have free form options. So with the tag description, it says it contains where you can enter in information. So for instance, if you are looking for a DeWalt tool, you can type in DeWalt and it would basically search your entire database for things that match DeWalt. Now, if there isn't a status that's listed, it would search and pull everything, loans, inventory, layaways. So at that point, oh, even sold. So always adding a status if you're looking for something specific in inventory, matching it to an inventory status. Now, the other thing to understand about creating these ad hoc reportings is going to be swapping out the operators. So these little blue link-looking equal signs are called operators. And when we click on it, it gives us an open box to select from different type of operators. So for instance, with the equal sign, this is saying the due date is going to be equal to April 17th. If we change this to doesn't equal, it's going to look for all due dates other than July 17th. Then if we pop over to range, it gives us two boxes where we can enter in a date range. So we can say from the beginning of the month until today. And so now we're going to be looking through 2.5 weeks worth of information. From here, we also have the in option, which basically allows us to continue to add specific dates. So now we would be able to say, I want to look for due dates on April 1st, April 17th. Maybe we also want to include the 11th. So now these would be the only 3 dates that are included in this particular report. The other options we have are going to be these less than, or less than and equal to, or greater than and equal to. So then at that point, if we choose less than, it's going to say that this report is going to be run for due dates that are less, or should I say before April 1st. So this is how you can really go through and adjust the terms of a loan to add in multiple criteria, to select different operators, to really build out what you need. So for instance, let's say we want to create a report for new loans for the week grouped by employee. So we're going to go ahead and pop over status, loan. Let's see here, create date. We're going to choose a range since it's for the week. We're going to select our date range here. The next thing that we are going to do is we are going to basically run this report, and then we're going to add some layout or choose column choosers to make our report do exactly what we want it to do. So in here, these are all of the loans that we have created. And since we want to see which employee did them, we're going to right click on our column chooser, and we're going to add associate. Now that we have our associate attached to here, we can head to that column, right click on it, and now we're going to group by this column. And what that does is it takes all of the loans that they've written and it puts it into a nice little bucket for you. So Alex has done 5 loans this week. And if we expand out that little caret, it's going to show us those 5 loans where we can easily go through and start assessing. So we have this ring, 22 carat, gold, 5 grams, $270. We can take a look at the customer loyalty information to see if this is a great customer, bad customer, and kind of assess the loan values from there. Now, the other thing you can do with ad hoc reporting is maybe you want to identify things like new customers that are customers that haven't been in a while. So we're going to head to our home page, go to our customers ad hoc reporting, and we are going to check out the last time in. And here I'm going to go ahead and select a range. So I want to see all of the people who haven't been in since 2023. I'm going to go ahead and swap over to 2023, enter in my date range, and oops, there we go. And when we run this is going to give us a list of all of the our customers who haven't been in quite some time so that we can invite them back in for a sales promotion or because we've missed them. So by being able to create the exact reports you need when you need them, this will help support smarter decisions, spotting trends, improving daily operation. So super powerful tool. We are going to head back to our deck real quick. And for this section, the goal is to pretty much help you make the most of your custom ad hoc reports by being able to access them at a moment's notice, maybe even copy them, adjust the criteria, and then update them so that you can work smarter with the tools you already have at your fingertips. So let's go ahead and pop back in to our dashboard. Now, Bravo does have a ton of pre-made lists for you already. So if we look in any of these side menu options, and some of them are listed on our task manager, you can see like priced items is a pre-built list. Our layaways overdue, our payment due dates, these are all pre-made lists that Bravo has created. And you can pretty much go in there and adjust and personalize the layout of those reports by swapping them around. Now, the other cool thing that you can do is pretty much export these lists. So let's say we have our priced items that we need to go and pull from our back room, right? So to access that layout that I've already created, I'm going to head to our layouts in the upper right-hand corner, pop it open, head to my saved layout, and I'm going to look at my pull list layout. Now it is adjusted to exactly the way I want to see it. And if I head to this right side menu, I can go ahead and print the list. The only thing that I do want to share is that some of our areas, like inventory or loans, have what we call batch loading. So at the bottom, you'll see this show more, and this will show you the first 250 lines. So if you have more that need to be loaded into this queue, by clicking show more, it will load the rest of that data there. So now the whole thing is loaded in here, and when I print it out, it will reflect everything on my priced items queue. From here, we have the ability to print it to your printer or even export it to different types of file types. Okay. Now, the other thing that we have in almost every single ad hoc reporting section is going to be saved reports. So all of the reports you've created, you can pretty much find in that ad hoc report generator by heading down to this little drop-down box called Choose Save Report. So when you open this up, you'll be able to see all of the reports you've created, as well as some really handy ones that Bravo has created and shared with you. So for instance, anything that has been shared globally, Bravo's created and pushed out to all users. So for instance, company-wide, this is something that we've created internally and shared with all of our companies. So At that point, you can kind of go through, see what's in there, and you'd be able to adjust it and copy it over. So let's say we want to see date to inventory. Well, we'll adjust this to say we want to see inventory that has the cost greater than $500 so that we can start focusing on pushing out heavy items so that we can really make a dent in our month. So at this point, I can go ahead and either run my report one time, or I can even say date to inventory over 500, and I can save a copy of this so that I can easily replicate this report anytime I want to. Now, the other thing we could do is go ahead and link layouts to reports for streamlined viewing. So we already have this saved report. We can go to our show column chooser, and then from there, we can select the layout that we prefer and update our report. And now we have easily updated it with new criteria or new layouts. So using and updating Bravo's saved layouts saves you time because you're no longer having to go through and create this brand new from fresh. All right, let's head into our deck real quick for our final section, which is going to be viewing ad hoc reporting. So standard ad hoc reporting lets you build detailed reports like using live data from Bravo. Things like inventory, sales, customers, loans, pretty much anything you can think of. You can filter by item level details, associates, categories. But when it comes to void view ad hoc reporting, it's a little bit different because it focuses on transaction level activity only. Things like if a certain tender type was used, by omni-channel, or even fast sales. So you won't see specific inventory or loan details, just high-level information on transactions. So let's hop into Bravo, and we're going to head over to our void view screen. So right side menu, void view transactions, and we're going to pop directly into ad hoc reporting. So again, just like with all of the other areas, we do have a ton of saved reports that Bravo has pushed out to the Bravo community to make your lives easier. Things like Fortis payments received or mobile pawn loan or layaway payments, till overages or shortages. So all of these reports already exist within there. So really head into your ad hoc reporting and just poke around to see what's available. Now, just like all of the other ad hoc report areas, you can build out your own custom reports. So let's say maybe you want to see how many fast sales were conducted in a month. So we're going to pop into our transaction header and we're going to select our date. We're going to click on the operator because we want to see it for an entire month. So we're going to pop into March, put in today's date for April. And now the next thing we're going to do is we are going to take a look at the particular customer. Now in here, if you see that equal sign, you could search and see a specific customer. Or I can click this little dollar sign, and it's going to basically say that any transaction that was completed as a fast sale. So when we click OK, it's going to pull all of those transactions that we pretty much just pushed through as a cash sale customer, fast cash customer. So up here, it will show you the overall transaction details, but it won't give you specifics. So you would have to dive into each section to see exactly what it consisted of. So for instance, this was a bronze piece for $76. We're going to head back, head into the next one, and then you can kind of go through and gauge what's being sold as cash sales. Now, cash sales or fast sales have a place in our shops, right? They're perfect for, DVDs or something that you really don't want to collect a bunch of customer information for. But the great thing about collecting customer information is that it allows you to market to these folks for future promotions. So by going through and being able to look at the amount of cash sales and what they are consisting of gives you, a chance to improve future promotions by being able to market to your direct market audience. Okie doke. So that pretty much wraps up our webinar on ad hoc reporting. We'd love to open it up to hear from you. What questions do you have? Or is there anything else you'd like to dig in a little deeper? So Luis, are there any chats or FAQs out there that we need to look at? Can we share reports? Yeah, absolutely. So we will have this video live for on our website or YouTube. So you can always go back and revisit this ad hoc reporting. We are hosting different webinars now, Wednesdays and Thursdays. So if you find this one helpful, come join us again. We try and, pack these sessions with different tips, walkthroughs, and of course, if there's any questions or real-time support that you need, if I don't have the questions right offhand, I can always reach back out and get you the information you need. So I am so happy that you guys joined us today. That's all we've got for you. We hope to see you next week, and so long for now. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.